please.
But what I would like people to remember about what I've done is that every day for all of those years, I've given it everything that I have, and I've never left anything on the field. In my 54 years at the NIH and my 38 years as the director of NIAID, although COVID is really, really very important, it is a fragment of the total 40 years that I've been doing it.
During the HIV/AIDS epidemic.
HIV and measles, SARS, flu season, and anthrax, Ebola, Zika, swine flu,
COVID-19,
SARS-CoV-2. I think people are having a misperception about, I'm just going to sit up and, have a cup of coffee until 11 o'clock and then go to the beach. It's just not going to be that way. I'm already, planning on writing and lecturing and traveling and doing things that I think are going to be important for my next chapter in my life. So although I'm stepping down, I'm not retiring. How can you not have it bittersweet when you've been in a place for 54 years? Half the buildings that I look around out the window here weren't even here when I came. When I became NIAID director, I did a number of things, but one of the things that I did that I think is most impactful is that I created the Division of AIDS. Those early years were very dark and very difficult because as a physician, you're trained to heal people, and we weren't healing anybody. Everybody was dying in front of us with a terrible death. Together with the pharmaceutical companies, has been responsible for the development, testing, and proving efficacy of a combination of drugs which have essentially transformed the lives of persons with HIV so that they can now go from what had been almost a certain death sentence to actually leading a virtually normal lifespan. That as a nation, we can't be doing the kinds of things we were doing a few months ago. That it doesn't matter if you're in a state that has no cases or one case. With COVID, where untruths abound, conspiracy theories abound, distortions of reality abound. Because how can you have a smooth-flowing democracy when untruths abound? It is essential that we get next generation of vaccines, because that doesn't mean that mRNA has not been an overwhelmingly positive transformation of vaccinology. It has been a game changer. However, it is not perfect. You have to do a combination of always sticking by the scientific principles, the data, the evidence, never over emphasize something and over determine it, and never underplay something. Those are the core immutable principles that you apply to every president, whether it's Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, or Donald Trump. I mean, you just got to do that. Stick with the science. Each individual administration had a different challenge. So the challenge with Ebola was different than the challenge with HIV under Reagan and George H.W. Bush. The challenge of pandemic flu with Obama was different than the challenge of Zika under that same administration. So you've got to approach each of those depending upon what the circumstances are, with the underlying core principle always being immutable. Data, facts, don't be afraid to tell it as it is, even if it somehow is a bit inconvenient.